page, Brooks's Movie Reviews, and with me here today are Ridge King and Jake Barnes. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi. We will be discussing three main topics. We'll be discussing all the movie universes that other studios are trying to cash in on and start and make money, since Marvel Studios is doing so well, and Warner Brothers is doing fairly well with their DCEU as well. And we will be talking about Justice League and Thor Ragnarok and expectations for both those movies, especially since they come out in the same month, and also the future of the DCEU and the MCU. So let's start with the movie universes, guys. What do we think?
Cool. Like what? What is an example? Just give.
Okay, what do we think about the Dark Universe that Universal Pictures tried to start with the Mummy movie with Tom Cruise that did horrible at the box office?
What was the goal?
Yeah, that would be my question.
From what I understand, Universal Pictures wanted to create, or Universal Studios, not Pictures. I'm not saying Pictures. It's a studio. Wait,
It's gonna be like
is that the main part?
Universal Studios is the park.
That's the park.
Universal Pictures is the.
Okay, so I was right. I'm sorry. All right.
Universal Studios is making movies.
Okay, so Universal wanted to start this dark, something that they were going to call the Dark Universe, and they might still start it, but they have to redo it because
They already have to start it off with a reboot.
And we're done.
Well, Warner Brothers had to do the same thing with Man of Steel and Green Lantern tape.
Yeah, but like, what were they gonna pair the Mummy with?
Okay.
Frankenstein?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what.
No.
They did.
I mean, it was gonna, from what I can remember, I heard about it for a little bit.
So their team-up movie is gonna be like the Monster Mash, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Something like that, to be honest. Except probably more serious.
That explains why there was a Dracula reboot in the works.
Yeah.
And a werewolf movie then.
Oh no.
Because they were doing like
So they were
classic
gonna do
movie
like
MonsterVerse.
Brothers Grimm the movie.
Apparently,
They can't get Heath Ledger, so it's not working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aw.
So apparently,
still wrong.
this Mummy movie was going to be what Warner Brothers wanted Dawn of Justice to be, and basically it was going to open up the path to more movies, and the Mummy would basically exist in the same universe as the Wolfman, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Invisible Man, and so on.
But are you implying that Dawn of Justice wasn't just all the movies condensed into one movie?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question right
Slightly
now.
religious overtones.
You wanted an origin story too bad.
Well, here's the thing with the Mummy. Here's where it messed up, is that it tried too hard to actually promote this idea in its own movie without letting the Mummy just be its own movie. So,
Well, they were already off to a bad start when everyone assumed that the Mummy, that calling it the Mummy or whatever, they were like, well, where's Brendan Fraser?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no, it's not. It's a different Mummy. It's a Mummy.
yeah, that's what everyone kept asking me. I remember when I saw a
So
trailer
it wasn't
for it.
based off the same, like...
No, it was going to be just called The Mummy.
See, I thought it was, but I wasn't interested in it.
Everyone thought that too until they saw more of the advertisement. They started understanding more what it was going to be. Because I remember when I was...
Now, even when I saw more of the advertisement, I thought it was in the same Mummy universe.
Yeah.
Like that weird Yeti thing they did.
Because I agree with you. I went and saw a movie with Haley one time, and we saw that preview, and she whispered to me, is this like the Brandon Fraser movie, just a sequel, or what? And I was like, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, because they didn't focus on...
Fraser is
Like, they didn't focus on him on that weird Asian mummy one where they're like, terracotta mummies! And Yetis!
We don't talk about the third.
Yeah, but I thought, since they went so far off the formula with that one, that this was still just them going even further off the track.
All right, I have to ask, have either of you seen this movie?
Nope.
I tried to psych myself up to go see it, and I gave up.
Okay.
Because from
Like,
what I
even
can gather,
even in my head, thinking that it might have been part of the same franchise, I really lost my interest after the terracotta Yeti bull honky.
nice catch, Steve.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the issue I kind of had with it was that it just seemed like we're gonna do this new movie. It's gonna be epic. Our main character's Tom Cruise, and there's a cameo from Russell Crowe, and we're not gonna hire anyone else to work.
Is it also
apparently Russell Crowe was Dr. Jekyll. He was was that character, and so he would have been a monster.
Does
too.
Russell Crowe ever take roles that aren't completely weird?
I don't know. I think Fat Maximus in Les Miserables, right?
Okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna cut of that. I feel like
Honestly, I think Russell Crowe's he's a little bland.
He's kind of like, yeah, don't do that.
He doesn't
Even
really.
in his most famous movie of Gladiator, he was still a bland character.
I wouldn't call that his most. Well, I guess it's his most famous, but I don't think it's his.
I would consider.
I don't think it deserves to be his most famous. I think there's much better movies he's done than that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is it because of him or because of the movie?
I don't know. All I know is that. Okay, not regarding that movie. I just want to say that I think it's overrated.
I'm liking to agree.
Yeah, I mean, I met a lot of guys in the military who put that movie on a pedestal that it didn't deserve.
Wayne had it on a poster in a living room.
Oh my gosh.
He could probably quote that movie word for word.
Okay, what's the big deal about that speech he gives in the beginning of the movie? Because I think it's
I
actually
don't really think there is anything about it other than
I've never
people
thought
tend
it
to
was like-
memorize it.
I mean, they
Just one of
everyone
those-
considers it one of the greatest movie speeches of all
It's
time.
not.
And yet, I can name probably 10 that are better.
And 3 of them were in Lord of the Rings.
3 of them are Lord of the Rings. 4 of them are in Star Wars, and 1 of them is Braveheart.
Yeah, I mean, I
I didn't.
remember the last thing he says in the speech. Remember, what we do here today echoes in eternity. But it's his delivery. His delivery is too.
That sounds almost like one of those inspirational quotes that are on Facebook, like with the weird
With the minions.
like the weird background and a minion in the corner.
I mean, it didn't sound like he really cared about what he was saying. I felt like he was kind of reading the lines, kind of putting a little bit of effort to it.
Anyway, I feel like we're getting a little off topic. We're
Maybe a little bit.
It's time to talk about Gladiator, Dr.
So
Jekyll,
what other?
Russell Crowe, Dr. Jekyll.
Well, I think the whole point is the universes, right? So
I heard Tom Cruise was miscast in that movie, though.
miscast.
It's believed.
Yeah, it was an accident to cast him.
It was. It's believed that he was the wrong choice for the part because
I mean,
his character is in the beginning of the movie. His character is supposed to be an archaeologist who's kind of an a-hole.
Brendan Fraser.
Pardon our language.
Anyway, yeah, apparently he's supposed to be a very rude archaeologist. But that's all I've heard so far. But I know that the second half of the movie definitely works more in his favor.
Yeah.
From what I've seen from the trailers, and I did not even go see this movie. I would have had I first seen the previews. Had I first seen the previews way closer to when the movie came out, I probably would have gone and seen it. But the more I saw previews, the more I understood what it was going to be, the more I became disinterested.
I just don't like Tom Cruise in most roles. That was what really killed it for me for going to see it. I was like, Tom Cruise is he's the lead actor.
So you don't care for him as an actor?
I really don't. I feel like he's just kind of bland. Like he is Tom Cruise in whatever movie he's playing.
That's not every movie, but lately, yes.
He's like Will Smith except white. Like he plays him as that character.
Ever since he did Mission Impossible back in 1996, Hollywood basically labeled him as a huge action star. And for the most part since then, almost all of his movies, he has been pretty much a very similar character in all of them.
Well, I mean, no one
I don't
cares
shame
if it's
him
not
for
Mission
that.
Impossible, though.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's not a Mission Impossible movie, we don't want to see Tom.
And I very seldomly even want to go see Mission Impossible. Just as much as I don't want to go see Fast and Furious.
They stopped being good after the third Mission Impossible. In my opinion, I didn't like Ghost Protocol or the fifth one.
I just feel like there's a point at which you're overdrawing from your franchise. Which is, like, I think only Marvel's managed to get away from that.
You have an issue with Fate of the Furious?
Yes.
Okay, I gotta say this. I've actually seen all the Fast and Furious movies, and I enjoy them all a lot. Except for, like, 2. 2's kind of stupid.
They're just gimmicky. It's just like,
They're just
two cars.
They're just a movie you're supposed to sit back and enjoy.
Cars.
At this point, the further they go into the series,
Look, if Disney can't get away with Cars sequels, why do we let these guys?
the way I see it, like, the way to like enjoy these Fast and Furious movies at this point is just go to the movie and don't expect a great storyline or great writing.
See, but
just
then I'm giving them my money for making these.
Can we count that as a universe though? The Fast and Furious.
Absolutely, there's 8 movies.
Yeah,
they have more movies than Star Wars.
I don't know if you could call it a universe, but it is definitely a franchise.
I guess
Actually, it's incorrect. Exactly the same with half the story.
I mean, I think trying to create a Fast and Furious movie without Paul Walker is kind of a moot point after a while. I mean, for me,
was I the only person who felt it was really gimmicky that they made like the hologram version of him for that last scene? I was just kind of like,
with his brother.
"Can I see you again?" I was like, this is weird. I wasn't comfortable with that scene. I was like, this is he just died.
They kind of wanted to finish it off because they think it may have been what he wanted. Plus, he died.
They don't know what he wanted. He died.
Well, I mean, yeah, they halted.
Did you have my face on my brother?
I believe they halted production.
You
for like
added the crash sound.
I'm sorry. I feel bad for that.
Did anyone else have a tinge of irony too? That like he's a Fast and Furious actor. He died in a car crash.
I mean, that's
Like, I'm not trying to be cold about it, but there was some pretty cold irony in there.
My dad said something like he said, man, he died doing something Fast and Furious. He shouldn't, or whatever. My dad has made somewhat of a joke.
Now, again, love Paul Walker, great guy, but his movies are just blah after the third one.
Yeah.
And I say his movies because I can't really think of anything readily off the top of my head other than Fast and Furious that he's been in. And I'm sure one of you
Eight Below, the movie with the dogs, with the snow dogs.
He did a movie called something Bricks. So I don't know. It was this low budget movie that probably didn't even really hit theaters.
Oh, the one that came out after like posthumously for him.
Yeah, but he was already dead when it came out.
That's what posthumously meant.
Well, whatever. I never heard that term.
Well, I mean,
We learn something new every day, folks.
I mean, if we can go out to like get back onto the universe track real quick.
That's a universe to me.
Yeah, I mean, a
Well,
universe where you can
race a submarine.
I think that's debatable because the universe would suggest you're taking
other paths.
other paths and bring them all together. That's what.
This is more of a series.
This is more of a series of the same characters following the same path.
Every time.
Every single one. Same story. Every single one.
Betrayal. Cars.
People don't. I know. I understand.
Cars.
People definitely.
Submarine.
All right, Rich. Yeah, people don't like how when the movies go on, as the Fast and Furious movies are progressing, they're doing stuff that's more impossible each time. It's more like it goes against. Someone said
It's
six
more
really
Mission
started
Impossible
breaking the
and
law.
Fast and Furious cross paths.
Apparently,
Fast and impossible.
Impossibly fast.
Apparently, it was Fast and Furious.
Impossibly fast. Ghost Protocol.
All right, Rich. Man, I'm
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Well, from what I hear, Fast and Furious 6 was the first one that started breaking the laws of physics, especially with the runway scene at the end, or like
physics was a concern.
the jet trying to take off down the flight line, go down the runway, and people talked about, it was going really fast, and that scene's like 12 minutes long, and I'm pretty sure they would have ran out of runway.
I don't know. It's one of those series that got, like you said, after the third movie, just kind of went lackluster. And like 5 was adding The Rock to it was like, oh cool, The Rock's in a movie. But then by 6, you're like, oh.
Honestly,
in 2017, The Rock being in a movie isn't
honestly. I think The Rock's the only thing making the series still interesting and entertaining to watch, because it's Dwayne Johnson. He's in
The Rock saved Moana.
He's amazing to watch in movies.
He's in the new Jumanji.
Oh my god.
Goodness.
It's going to be entertaining. We don't know how that it's going to be good.
We just need to take all the movies that The Rock's in and just call it like the Dwayne saga.
There's actually, in Fate of the Furious, there's actually one line that Dwayne Johnson has in the movie. It's during the prison break scene, and just hearing him deliver this line in the moment and in the scenario, it made it worth it just to go see the movie. I'm not even kidding.
5 bucks to hear Dwayne Johnson say a line. Oh wait, it's more here. Whoops.
Was it? Did you smell what I could?
Do you want to know what it was?
What The Rock
I'm not gonna go see it. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna watch it.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, crowd.
Spoiler alert. So cover your ears for the next 10 seconds. It's basically during the prison break scene, this other prisoner who has beef for his character, tries to kill him, and he has a knife, and he just walks right up to him, and he's like, "I've been waiting for this for a long time, Hobbs," and then he just takes his hand and shoves a knife into him, and says, "Keep waiting, bitch."
Wow, watch your language.
Family friendly, Brooks.
We all get one now.
I had to quote the line, man.
Man.
Anyways, Dwayne Johnson's delivery of the line was hilarious, and it was me and Cristobal could not stop laughing. We went and saw this movie together. We were laughing.
Like, I was hoping it was like a subtle reference to his wrestling career.
What Hobbs is cooking.
He's still what the Hobbs is cooking.
No,
You know my name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
we were laughing for a good 5 minutes after. Like we just couldn't. We were too funny for us.
Goodness.
So what other universes suck?
I don't know what else is.
I'm still I'm iffy about it. It could be good if they do it right, but I'm on the fence with the whole monster universe stuff.
Well,
the giant
that's
monsters. You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, Godzilla and King
If
Kong.
done
starting
right,
off.
it could be really good.
So far, it hasn't been bad. I liked Godzilla, the new one. I liked
the new
King
Godzilla
Kong
was
Skull
good,
Yeah.
especially the parts with Godzilla in
Now,
it.
granted, those movies have
Island.
their
10 minutes.
those movies have their problems, but I thought Godzilla was really solid, and I actually like it a lot better than this new King Kong movie for my own reasons. One, if you think about it, Tom Hiddleston's character in King Kong didn't really do anything.
Well, that's because he's busy doing things in Asgard. Loki's a busy guy, all right? He's just doing the side acting.
So you're saying Loki was posing as a completely different character?
I am low-key saying Loki.
Low-key. I don't know. I think that universe actually has a really good opportunity.
They have a chance
think
to
it
do
does
it,
too.
but they really have to do it right because it feels like people are trying so hard to jump on this bandwagon that they're just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Here's the thing. A lot of success is going to be banking on the Godzilla Kong movie fight. And then, after that, anything else new they bring in, they have to make sure it's really good, because if it's not, it's going to stop right at the Godzilla.
Like, I really think the problem all these franchises have is getting traction. Because, like, they're trying to compete with Marvel's, like, for instance, Marvel's franchise, where they have a lot of material to go off of. And there's not the same exchange with a lot of these other universes that they're trying to do.
Well, Marvel had a little... Marvel started off really well with Iron Man, but from what I understand, they had a little difficulty gaining more traction after Iron Man. But then it got better
Until
with
they
Thor
opened
and
the
Captain
comic
America.
books. And then they're like, hey, did you guys know about these things called comic box? I think that's how they're
From what I
pronounced.
understand, the Incredible Hulk was not very well received critically.
What?
And Iron Man 2, apparently that got a lot more hate than I thought it did.
I really just think
Even though
Hulk has a tough time
even
being
though I
so
like Iron Man
over.
2 better than Iron Man 1.
Yeah, I heard they had a real tough time dealing with Hulk off scene, you know? Just kind of...
Well, but I mean, going back to this whole
I
monster.
mean, if your actor is just kind of grumpy all the time.
I mean, sure. But real quick, going back to the monster thing, I think the biggest issue I'm going to have with it at the moment is that they've only revealed 2 protagonists, and Godzilla and King Kong. But the only villains that are going to exist so far are Godzilla's villains. Because at the end of Kong Skull Island, they reveal cave paintings. I mean, how much of a reveal is a cave painting? But for his 3 most famous ones of Mothra, King Ghidorah, and Rodan, so it's like Godzilla movies
Starring King Kong.
featuring King Kong.
Well, I mean, it could turn out pretty well depending on how they do it. But I mean, I don't really think King Kong's even known for having villains.
Not really. His whole thing was the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
You know, twas
So I mean,
easy that
it is fair to say that, yeah, if there's going to be villains, they'd have to come from the Godzilla verse, because
Yeah, I think the skull things in this new movie were just fabricated for the movie, if I had to guess.
didn't he kill them all too?
Yeah.
So, yeah, still.
an awesome-
Even then, redundancy.
Which is an awesome scene.
Spoiler alert.
So
Funny part, I haven't seen the movie, and I guessed that right.
I think we're about done with
I
this.
think we've about exhausted topic 1.
Okay.
Let's talk about other universes that we've touched
All right,
on.
let's move on
in a series.
to our expectations for Justice League and Thor Ragnarok coming out in November.
One of them's going to be amazing. the other one's going to be awful. It's your choice to decide which one to win.
You pick, crowd.
You pick. If you're a DC fan,
Do you want Suicide Squad but with mainstream heroes?
or do you want a buddy?
Or Justice League? That was a good one.
I wasn't expecting that one, honestly. I was about to say something about...
Out of left field.
I thought I was going to make a joke about Thor and Hulk being just a cheesy buddy cop film. Which is true. I mean, I'm just excited that Hulk is finally talking.
Yes.
I think there's going to be some important character development for Hulk without the movie being all about Hulk, which will make it a good movie. Because it seems like when they centerfold around Hulk, it's always, woe is me, I'm a rage monster. And it just doesn't appeal to the audience.
Woe is me, I'm a rage monster, and I can't be in a romantic relationship with Scarlett Johansson. And it's like, we don't
Who
have
accepts me for who I am? Why does she accept me?
Who accepts me? And actually, probably the best
I'm
person
gonna
for
fly away on a plane and end up on Planet Hulk.
and she's the perfect person for me, but, you know, she's probably the perfect person for me, but, you know, I'm gonna leave, and, like, the entire crowd who watching is just like, this isn't relatable. We'd all date Scarlett Johansson.
Why isn't the shy nerdy guy with the super awesome power going out with the hot chick? This doesn't relate to me.
I don't understand.
Okay, all jokes aside, what do y'all think? Do y'all think Justice League? Okay, we all know about the success that Wonder Woman had and how she's given some hope to this DCEU. But does Justice League look like it could be maybe even close as promising, or does it look like another Zack Snyder crap fest that we got from Dawn of Justice?
Let's be honest, DC has a bad habit of getting rid of things that people like. Like Batfleck, I've heard, has had some issues. I'm not sure if that's completely true.
It's got some merit to it. Not all of it. A lot of it is rumored.
Well, I'm hoping that they don't get rid of one of the two good heroes in the Justice League so far that I see. The others don't have enough depth for me to say if they're good yet or not.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm excited for Justice League simply because Jason Momoa is Aquaman, and that's enough for me.
Wonder Woman was fantastic.
Wonder Woman was great.
I enjoyed it. It was good.
I did enjoy it. Unpopular opinion, I don't think for me personally, it didn't deserve the hype that people gave it.
And honestly,
it
no
was kind
movie
of
ever does, though.
But the
when it
people
comes to hype.
people built it up for me pretty heavily before I went and saw it.
Okay.
So it kind of didn't meet that expectation. But it's still the best by far of the DC.
See, the problem with me is I'm going in really low on DC stuff. I'm always kind of expecting the next Green Lantern movie.
Yeah.
Or, for instance, Suicide Squad.
I mean, but
Nothing beats character slideshows.
So it's your mindset when you go see a movie like Suicide Squad. You're not too let down, but if you go into it, it's actually pretty great. You're pretty blown away.
Yeah, I was compared to what DC has put out. Sorry, DC fans. Wonder Woman's pretty much the best thing y'all had.
Well, I mean, as
Batman
a
versus
DC movie
Superman
fan, as a DC movie fan, that's a really safe assumption. Another unpopular opinion, I really liked Batman v Superman.
Yeah, it was like a roller coaster for me because I enjoyed it. I was kind of like, yeah, and then we got to Suicide Squad. I was like, no, and then Wonder Woman. I was like, okay.
Okay, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing when I look at it. Starting off, Man of Steel, I loved Man of Steel. This movie was hyped up for me so much, and when I watched it, I felt like it met my expectations.
I appreciated that
them.
Batman v Superman addressed the gratuitous destruction of the first Superman film.
Yeah. And I thought Man of Steel was done really well to the point where they could definitely. It was a great foundation for this universe they want to create. But Warner Brothers saw Dawn of Justice as their gateway opening into their universe, and they tried to shove. The problem with Dawn of Justice, I still find it to be entertaining, and I see redeeming qualities in it. And I think it's a semi-good movie. However, it could have been a hell of a lot better. But the problem was, it was way too overstuffed. And they made some bad decisions. They made some bad decisions by throwing Doomsday into the mix. And it basically, even though Batman was in it, it really felt like a Man of Steel sequel. It really felt like it was Man of Steel 2 with Batman and Wonder Woman
characters.
Well, I mean, let's be fair here. This is technically classified as a Superman sequel.
Yes.
So I mean that isn't a far off assumption.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, there's no Batman villains. They're all Superman villains. Lex Luthor, Doomsday. You know,
it also stars Superman dying.
I mean, Superman needed to have Doomsday be a villain in a solo film, not a group film.
Yeah, I feel like they spent so much time rushing things along.
And they didn't need to do Lex Luthor's son. They needed to do Lex Luthor.
They needed to put.
That was a quick. I think that was a quick. That was a quick cop out they wrote in real quick because whenever people found out what kind of character that. Jesse Eisenberg was going to play, there was huge negative backlash on the internet.
Well, I mean, I almost thought that they did have a Batman villain because he was basically the Riddler without the hat.
Yeah.
And so
that would have been a better choice.
And
for
also,
him.
you know, copy Star Wars reference on his jacket, TK-421 on his little prisoner jacket that he had. I was kind of like, huh, this is a weird reference. It's kind of out of place.
Didn't this come out before Rogue One, though?
I'm guessing it's before. You know, I hadn't thought about it, but why would you make a reference to a franchise owned by your rivals?
Yeah, I feel like...
buy us, give us money. We can get rid of Zack. But to be fair, okay, I'm going to say to be fair a lot when it comes to DC, because, you know, you have to try to
because you're being the guy that's kind of justifying it, so you have to try to justify the Justice League. Who's going to justify the Justice League?
Zack Snyder isn't the director for Justice League anymore. He left halfway through because his daughter.
It's not halfway through.
I heard they shot almost half the movie though.
So does that mean half of the movie will be done and the other half?
I heard that they had mostly completed it, but he couldn't finish.
Joss Whedon reshot a bunch of stuff though.
I heard
so.
That's what I thought at first, but I heard that he was basically putting on the finishing touches. That and he said it would still be Zack's movie.
That was the initial plan, but then the studio asked him to shoot some other.
I just don't.
Great.
I want DC's movies to be good.
See, and I feel bad because the reason Zack Snyder left is
wasn't it death or something?
His daughter committed suicide.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty serious stuff.
You can hate his movies, but that's an awful thing to happen.
And I don't even hate them. I want DC to succeed, like I said, and I don't care who's in charge. I just want them to do it justice. Like,
you want to look at the Zack Snyder universe, I love to watch it.
Real quick, back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
When Dawn of Justice came out, initially I liked it, but I felt like part of me just really wanted to like it. I had blindfolds on to all the faults of the movie, and I was just enjoying what the movie was showing me because I was looking forward to it for a good couple of years.
I feel like I had to watch it 3 times to get everything they plugged in there.
Now people who
it wasn't until the 3rd time that I even picked up on the dark side references. I was like,
yeah,
why did I miss all that?
Well, a lot of people who hate the movie, they tend to deny that they were excited and hyped up for it before it came out.
I was totally pumped.
Everybody denies that they were pumped up, but even though they were, because do we not remember that Comic-Con trailer that they dropped? That was one of the best trailers.
Out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because you're seeing the 2 of the most iconic characters ever.
You mean the only characters DC's
looking like they're coming head-to-head in a movie,
like being in a live-action movie.
But the more I went back and watched the movie, the more flaws I saw, and the more problems I saw, and the more I was like, I wish I hadn't done that. And again, actually, when I saw the Doomsday trailer with the Doomsday reveal, I was automatically like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Did their parents really have the same names? I can't remember Superman's mother's name.
I was praying.
Was it really Martha?
No one ever pointed it out because no one cared. Okay, Batman's mom's dead. No one cares about the Kens.
Besides, I mean, there's a lot going on with Batman stuff, like Joe Chill and all that. And,
well, no one's gonna care. Honestly, Batman, I don't think would have even cared.
Yeah, but Batman's stories, this must be before he actually looked into his own parents, stuff, because that shouldn't have affected him otherwise.
All right, I think we need to jump out of Dawn of Justice. We're a little into it, depth into it, but
Justice League.
It's the only
thing. For me, Man of Steel was good. Dawn of Justice could have been better. Suicide Squad, a lot of people were like,
train wreck.
Suicide Squad, everyone's like, this is going to be the good one, this is going to be the one.
Nope.
And here's the thing from the Suicide Squad. I'm just going to say this and leave it at that. I really like the Suicide Squad characters. As characters. The story they're in is complete trash.
Okay. Well, now, even the casting I would have done.
And then Wonder Woman came in and gave us all some hope, but now I'm afraid that Justice League I want this Justice League movie to be good, especially
I'm just
with
trying to
the new
figure out-
trailer they released, the 4-minute trailer where lanterns were mentioned, which we all got excited about that.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they
You
mentioned
haven't seen
lanterns.
it?
I'm not on the internet much, please.
Yeah, the main whoever the main villain is just like
It's,
no lanterns
Steppenwolf.
to keep you safe or something like that.
Steppenwolf, it was shown at the end of Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition. He is going to be the main villain in the new Justice League movie, and he is seen quite
Just
a
kinda
bit, but
makes
they're
an
not
observation.
focusing on his face a lot. You basically see him in a lot of shots, but nothing really of his face. Only for a split second when he tries to hit Wonder Woman, but she gets him back with her bracelet clash. But he has a point where there's a point in the trailer where he's narrating throughout the trailer, and he says, "No protectors here, no lanterns, no Kryptonians. This world will fall like all the others."
Well, that would make a lot of sense for.
And so at least we know they've, in passing, mentioned lanterns.
Yeah.
Now,
when he said,
does that mean there will be a cameo for like Hal Jordan or something? We don't know.
Probably knowing DC's tendencies.
yeah.
I mean,
Honestly, that's what's worrying me. I'm excited.
DC's only
for-
tendency is to disappoint
I mean,
people.
I'm really excited for Justice League.
Yeah.
I really am because they haven't really revealed
kinda
too
curious.
much.
Apparently, we're going to get an underwater fight scene between Steppenwolf and Aquaman, which I'm really looking forward to.
I also kind of want to know, like, you know, what they're gonna do with the train wreck that they had with Suicide Squad. Are those guys ever coming back?
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
They already.
Where?
Here's and this is what's already causing strife with it though is that Suicide Squad 2 is already planned.
No.
Joker's going to be in a solo Batman movie with Ben Affleck.
Is it gonna be the same Joker?
Yes.
Ah.
Margot Robbie is going. They're planning on doing a Gotham City Sirens.
I mean, I'm okay. Oh. I'll go see that.
Rich.
What?
We all know.
Sorry, Margot Robbie.
Here's the problem. From what I hear, Megan Fox is planning to play Poison Ivy.
Only as a backup. They're trying to get Emma Stone to do it.
Oh, she'd be a good one.
Yes, she would be, and
She'd make an excellent.
And they've already shown art design for what Megan Fox might look like, and it doesn't look good.
Oh gosh.
One, she's not a natural redhead. It would be very obvious that she's not a natural redhead, and that's what people will hate about it.
But they're also the biggest issue that people have right now is that they're wanting to do a Joker origin movie without Jared Leto playing Joker. Jared Leto's gonna play
Here's the
Joker.
problem.
No.
They're going back and here's the thing I've heard about that. It's going to be directed by Martin Scorsese apparently. It's not going to. Jared Leto is not going to be the
Just
Joker.
give it to Tim Burton.
No. Here's the problem though. There's been back and forth on whether or not it's going to be a part of the DCEU. And last I heard it was, but at first I heard it wasn't. But I feel like nothing's been truly confirmed.
Nothing's confirmed with these movies yet, but it's a lot of speculation and none of it's like.
Now, here's the
That's
thing.
the problem. It's a lot of speculation, but it's nothing you get excited about.
Here's my
That's
thing. Here's my big
DC.
problem with Justice League. I'm really excited for Justice League. Aquaman looks great. The Flash looks great.
I want Black
Wonder Woman
Manta.
looks good.
That's what
She
they
looks
confirmed. He's the villain of Aquaman.
Ah.
They have confirmed that he is the villain of the solo.
I love Black
Wonder
Manta.
Woman has more color to her outfit than she did in Dawn of Justice. It looks like they took cues from Wonder Woman. They're like, okay, we need to get more
And
color.
Batfleck has a beard. You know a movie's gonna be good.
He's actually a little more shaved at this one.
Does he shave it off? Because there's that
more
trailer.
clean-shaven.
There's that trailer where he's got like that big beard.
I mean, I was just saying that.
Oh
was
well, yeah. There's that one part of the
I figured
movie.
they were just doing the Batman
Well,
thing, where
lately
it's like,
in the latest trailer, that's not shown at all.
Okay.
For most of the movie, he's gonna be clean shaven, but for that part where he's traveling, he's gonna have a beard.
Yeah, because when you travel, you grow a beard.
I just don't like that the Flash.
You actually with a beard with that outfit and everything.
I have a problem with the Flash right now. I like his outfit. I don't like that whenever he runs, that lightning shoots everywhere and like actually destroys stuff. That bothers
Really?
me. Yeah. Like if you notice in all his scenes where you see him use the Speed Force when he comes out and stuff, or his stuff, like the lightning will hit things a bunch of times.
I think maybe that's gonna happen when he wants to do that.
Hopefully.
I don't know, but all I know is that it doesn't look like that's the case through some of the movie. I don't know. We'll find out. But there's one shot that I've seen a couple times where he's running and he moves his arm like this, and I can only assume that he's throwing lightning.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, the whole idea is that the Speed Force is kind of like zipping around him all the time and is causing the lightning, and that when he throws it, he's able to harness it around him and then toss it where he wants it. But I'm hoping he does that. It's not the whole all the time. But what I want the two things I
I'd
really
rather him
want out
not
of
be at
this
the peak of his power, though. Like, I want him to develop as a
I don't
character.
think so. He's gonna be still fairly. I don't know how he's got
throwing
the
lightning
suits.
and like harnessing the speed force. I feel like
I don't
it's
know
the top of his power.
if his origin is the same as a TV show where he got his suit from Star Labs or something. We don't know anything yet.
I mean, the suit looks better.
But it looks like, but from what we understand, like he's still really new to the superhero thing because he told them all. It's really in the trailer. He says it's really cool that y'all all look ready to do battle, but I've never done battle before. I've just pushed some people to run away.
What is it, the commercial or the trailer? Which one is it where they're all standing there and they say something to like, maybe the mayor or the commissioner, somebody, and when he turns around, he looks back and they're all gone except for the Flash. He's like, they actually do that?
That is a new one.
Is that the new one? I've only seen that part. They do that one. That's really rude of them. Sorry. Like, I like Barry Allen. I always, no matter what incarnation.
And I believe that actor is Commissioner Gordon.
Okay, sweet. But the only two things I'm really excited, besides Aquaman and all that kind of stuff, is that there's a rumor that Cyborg's solo movie is actually going to be a Teen Titans movie.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And hopefully that makes people go, hey, maybe we should make the Teen Titans cartoon not silly anymore.
Not as good of a catch there, buddy.
Yeah, I didn't like that new thing of Teen Titans that they did. I got so disinterested after that.
And I'm also excited for the implications that there might be a Martian Manhunter eventually
Yeah.
in these movies, which I really want.
I mean, they had him in the TV series stuff, don't they?
Well,
I mean,
He's
Martian Manhunter is
he's
one of
a
the original-
Supergirl, but he's mainly in a human form most
Yeah,
of the
but
time.
he's
The
there.
Martian Manhunter is like actually the original founder
So-
of Justice League.
Yeah,
Or, like
so,
one of the
I
original
mean-
founders, not Cyborg.
Well, it's movie adaptation, so.
I'm just hoping that, if they had the time
Well,
to
here's
put
the
him
thing
in.
about
Then again, they
Justice-
put Dr. Fate in Smallville, and he hasn't even shown
Well, here's the
his
thing
ass.
about Justice League. I want it to be good. I think it'll be good. I think I'll enjoy it, but
I'm
I'm
gonna go see it
it's going to give us
regardless.
the same results as Dawn of Justice, because if you think about it, this could possibly be Dawn of Justice plus even more characters.
Well, it looks like, from the trailers I have seen, it looks like it's going to be at least a little bit more lighthearted than just.
And I'm not sure if that's okay.
Well,
to be honest, I don't know. I don't know how DC.
No. I think it's fine. It looks like it's going to be mainly dark, but with some light humor throughout to make us
That's
laugh. some
Marvel's
more.
gimmick more
Like
than
with
DC.
Aquaman, a new trailer saying, I think we're all going to die. So,
Ha 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 ha! Funny. So lighthearted.
we're all going to die. Well, it's just, you see the way he says it, and you can tell from the way he says it, it's either really sad or it's a little comical, and I think they're going to go the other way.
I have a feeling he's going to be the funnier of all the characters.
He looks like he's the
Flash
most...
looks like
Well,
Flash looks like
DC's
the
Thor, essentially.
Flash looks like he's going to be the try-hard comical character.
Yeah.
Batfleck's going to be the dry, brooding character he's always been.
Okay,
Wonder Woman's going to be the clueless woman, or not? I guess she's not.
Ooh, careful.
She's the foreigner coming from Amazon. And
I guess technically
she's been around for a
But yeah,
while.
I realize that as I say it.
Yeah, she's been
But,
around
and
for
then
a while.
Aquaman's going to be the.
I feel like
The
Aquaman's
funny-
going to be the Thor of the DC universe.
Okay, here's the thing, though. Okay, remember the end of the... Have you all seen the end of the new trailer? Apparently, the very end of it, Alfred is somewhere underground in one of the Bat caves working on something, and somebody shows up, it doesn't show who, and he looks up and he says, he said you'd come, now let's hope you're not too late.
It's going to be
gonna
either a
Superman.
lantern or somehow he figured out Superman was alive.
It's got to be Superman.
It's a toss-up.
Here's the thing.
I think
People are speculating, but to me, hands down, it's Superman. It's a no-brainer
Well-
because people are saying, oh no, it could be Green Lantern, it could be Shazam. One, wouldn't make sense. Two, would be an awful introduction. And three, we all know Superman's going back anyway.
Dwayne Johnson.
Well, Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam.
Oh, Black Adam.
That'd
Yeah.
be hilarious. He said you come, like no build up, no mention of it, not even like Batfleck saying, I called someone, he's gonna try to get here, nothing. It's just, he said you'd come, and then it's just like a 10-year-old kid.
Hi, Billy. Shut down.
And everyone's just like, what?
Why? People like Jake and I would laugh at it though.
I mean, I think it would be awesome because I love Shazam. But
Well, I
It's
think
Dr. Fate.
here's my hope for a Shazam movie.
Benedict Cumberbatch with the golden helmet. It's Doctor Strange but wearing the golden helmet.
I hope it's Superman. I hope he comes back and he gets the whole dark thing out of the way, and then he's our Boy Scout good Superman again. And when they do the Shazam movie, I want it to be an origin story, but I want Superman to be in it. Because there's an animated DC movie about Shazam where they both fight Black Adam, and it's the boy getting his powers as Shazam for the first time. But he's up against an experienced villain, so of course Superman's there, but Superman's weak against magic, so they have to team up and take him down. It's really cool, and I think
Shazam Homecoming.
And I think it could translate really well to a live-action movie.
I'm sorry, just drawing the lines across. That was really good. Shazam Homecoming.
What do you mean?
Like Spider-Man Homecoming when Tony Stark's helping out Spider-Man?
Yeah, but he didn't help him fight the main
Superman,
villain.
I know,
I know, but you're talking like
Shazam Homecoming.
popular franchise hero.
Because Superman would be fighting.
It's different.
I get a joke you're trying to make. I didn't find it funny because it doesn't make sense to me. So.
Nothing makes sense. I'm gonna tell you Game of Thrones season 7 spoiler in 5 seconds.
No.
You wanna apologize
We're
for
gonna
your
be friends. We're no longer gonna be friends.
You wanna apologize for your stats?
Shut up. Shut up. I will hate you forever if you tell me. Anyways.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so let's move on to. Okay, so basically.
Oh yeah, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, so what do we think of Thor Ragnarok?
It's gonna be awesome.
Honestly, the first couple trailers didn't convince me, but the latest one did. The latest one finally got me super excited for it with the forming of the team. We got to see a little bit more of Loki in it, and we got to see some awesome Hulk shots of him fighting a gigantic wolf and whatnot. And then we got to see that thing at the end where he talks and he takes on a big fire monster thing, which I can only assume might be Ragnarok.
No,
What is
Ragnarok
that
is
thing?
an event.
It's an event.
Yeah.
I heard it was a monster.
Ragnarok involves the destruction of Asgard. Started technically in the comics in Legend by Loki, and this one is by Hela, where basically Loki's children attack Asgard and destroy it. That fire giant is probably Surt, who's the god of fire in Norse mythology.
Okay.
And that wolf is Fenrir, and I'm assuming.
Yeah, I kind of figured the wolf was Fenrir.
And then Jormungandr, the giant serpent, will probably show up.
We need the squirrel.
I've heard of a
Ragnarok.
giant serpent. And we all know Doctor Strange is going to be in it somewhere.
And he gets struck by lightning, turns into Squirrel Girl, and that's how we get Squirrel Girl.
All right, so we spent a long time on Justice League, so let's compare the two real quick, since we all know Thor Ragnarok's going to be awesome.
Marvel.
How are they going to compare at the box office?
Thor is gonna take it.
Really? Which one comes out first?
Thor. I think. Y'all talk. I'll fact check.
All right. And I even kind of have a few apprehensions about Thor. And it's not anything to do with, I think, the movie so much as the way they're selling it. The art style almost feels like it's copying Guardians of the Galaxy now. Like they're sitting there saying...
No. I think they're creating... Let me stop you there. They're creating a similar feel for Guardians because I think Thor is going to connect to the Guardians.
And I'm thinking that might be the case too, but if not, then it's kind of just... Like they're like...
Well, honestly,
it's everything looking like Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, it's a better feel anyway because the vibe this movie's giving off, it's much better than the original Thor movies, the other Thor movies did. Thor 1 did just fine because it was a
most
more...
of Thor movies were pretty terrible.
Well, no, the Thor 1 was pretty unique because he had
like all the times he got hit by a car.
And he had to become more humble and earn them back and whatnot. It was actually, okay, it may have been a little cliche, but it was done really, really well. However, Thor 2, it had great moments, and Tom Hiddleston as Loki being involved more in the movie later on in production helped the movie be more enjoyable. However, a lot of it was really dry, and the final act of the movie where he fights the bad guy on Earth was kind of stupid.
And that's the thing though, like...
And no one remembers what, I think his name was Malekith? No one remembers the Thor 2 villain.
I loved Malekith.
Neither of the enemies were memorable.
I don't know,
The
that's real
stories
name.
kind of fell flat. Like, you can say they were acceptable, but they really fell flat and were forgettable.
Wait,
Both of them.
the Thor
Both of
movies?
the Thor movies. They were
I
flat and
disagree.
forgettable.
Thor 1 had some heart to it. Thor 2,
Some heart doesn't make it
some
memorable.
heart, and then towards
Like, the only scenes I explicitly remember from Thor 1 is every time Thor got hit by a car or did something slightly funny.
Let me
watch it again.
I don't remember. Yeah, that's the thing, though. I have to watch it again so that I can sit here and say, this is what I remember from 5 seconds ago.
3 words will explain why I'm not a huge fan of the first Thor movie.
Oh, God.
dyed blonde eyebrows. It's so disconcerting to watch.
And also, I'm still going through that
all
transition.
the Avengers movies, to watch Thor 2, see Thor Ragnarok, and then watch Thor 1 again, and this horrible dyed blonde eyebrows and hair. And
I was also trying to go through that transition of Natalie Portman not being a Star Wars character.
I'm so glad she's not in these movies.
Yeah, I'm
Apparently,
happy
Natalie
for her
Portman.
though.
Apparently, regarding Natalie Portman, apparently she's no longer part of the MCU because when she signed on for the Thor movie, she had no idea what it was gonna go into. She had no idea what it was a part of it. She had no idea she would have to come back for many sequels, and she was barely cooperative with doing Thor 2, and when they needed her for a reshoot, she absolutely refused. So at the end, in the end credit scene of Thor 2, when Thor comes back to Earth and they share a kiss, that's actually Chris Hemsworth's wife.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's why it was a really
not just a
kiss.
producer in a wig.
Yeah.
Yes,
so Natalie Portman's her character, Jane.
we were so
no longer
close
in
to
it.
getting rid of Pepper Potts, and she came back.
I actually like that she came back.
I hated her since Avengers.
I've never been that attached to her character.
just a little bit more.
No, I've hated her since Avengers.
Really?
I kind of
Mostly it's petty and it's more character driven than it is. I just don't like Gwyneth Paltrow or something like that. No, it's your boo thing is about to die. You know, black hole in the sky to nuke some aliens, and you can't answer your damn phone.
That really did bother me. You're right.
I was like, stop watching the news and talk to him.
Well,
he wants to say he knows you.
like you see it. Here's the thing.
That they never got to say the
Okay,
Black Horse.
there's a nuke flying towards where your boyfriend's fighting, and you're not even thinking about looking at your phone. Maybe he's calling.
Yeah, you're literally watching.
You're
him
just so
fly
glued to
towards
the
a
TV
space hole.
that you don't think he might make a collect call to Pepper Potts.
Okay, well,
So it's more petty than it is actually like serious.
And also, she really lost me in Iron Man 3 when she turned into like, hero mode.
That was awful.
yeah, I would agree with you. That was pretty stupid.
And then Iron Man 3 just, I can't even acknowledge.
Super
I
Potts.
can't acknowledge it either. It's like the one movie I would skip if I did a Marvel marathon.
Which one?
Iron Man 3.
And we talked about this in that movie debate that we did a long time.
Yeah.
I would just skip Iron Man 3 altogether.
Utterly forgettable.
But I think okay. So to go back to that though, Thor Ragnarok comes out November 3rd, and Justice League is November 17th.
So Thor's coming out first.
So Thor is gonna make a lot more money before it even comes out. So
It's going to have time to really build up, too.
So do you think Justice League will be able to, when it comes out, do you think it will beat Thor in the box office or no?
There's a possibility of it.
Will it at one point be number one for a little bit?
Every movie is number one at some point.
For its first 2 weeks, it'll probably get there.
Look, the Minions
Simply
movie
because-
got number one for a little bit.
Simply because
Let's be
they're gonna-
frank. Every movie gets
Well,
number
when little
one.
kids are going to see a movie, that helps it.
Well, Justice League's advantage right now is that it's a lot of people are curious about seeing all these characters on screen together.
Yeah.
So that's what really no one really knew what to
It will
expect when
outsell.
Avengers came out.
I mean, it'll
But you can
outsell
also say a lot of people have
Thor.
given up already, regardless of Wonder Woman's success, which may have drawn some people back.
Yes, but they've also made 8 Saw movies, and yet they still keep making money. People will still go see these things, even if they've given up on it. Simply just to sate their curiosity. I think Thor Ragnarok will make more money in the end.
I still think, and even comparing, I feel like Thor Ragnarok's bring a little bit more to the table than Justice League. And that's a pretty daring statement considering all the stuff that Justice League is kind of hinting at happening.
But I think Justice League has a chance. To put it in perspective,
I think they'll outsell Thor comparing Thor at the time to their movie. But release dates,
to put it in perspective,
Thor is almost a good 2 weeks before it comes out, and then there's almost 2 weeks before it just...
it'll sell more tickets than Thor on that day. Guaranteed.
How many do we sell? 200 million. How many Thor? An old couple weeks. Yes.
I don't know about that.
Justice League. To put it in perspective, the way to look at it is that Justice League has a chance, but it's almost like they're playing D&D and they're rolling disadvantage, and so it's like they have a chance, but it's not a good one.
Yeah.
So they could pull something out of their butts and have an amazing movie. It probably.
But that's the problem. Why does it have to be a miracle for them to make a movie?
Because we have nothing to say otherwise except for what.
Yeah, but I mean, like, okay, I'm gonna say this. In 2 video games, Injustice, the Injustice fighting series, is better than every DC movie.
False.
Not false. Absolutely not false.
I've only played the
live
first
action
one,
or
so-
animated.
Huh?
Live action or animated movies.
But not the animated movies. I can't compare animated movies.
Then I'll retract my statement.
Yeah, I mean the actual films that go to theater, with the exception of like the Killing Joke animated series. I think that went to theater. For
And Batman, the Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, like any of the cartoon stuff is good because obviously I don't know why they can just make cartoons better than do anything else. But like,
Is that what that movie's called? Mask of the Phantasm?
The old
Maybe.
Batman animated movie. Okay.
but they've put better story into video games that are half the amount of time usually than most of these movies run together. And it's just better story. There's more characters showing up. There's this unspoken dynamic between everything. Like, you understand that there's story, subtext, and background in a video game, and they can't seem to replicate that on the big screen. And I think it's kind of funky.
There's more time and effort that's able to be put into it. Creating a story for a video game than there is for a movie.
But why?
You also have to deal with in-person actors doing all these things and making sure they do all this kind of stuff and creating the world. When for a video game you can have one small team that creates an entire visual world instead of trying to have an entire.
I mean, I suppose that's fair to an extent, but I feel like the process should be similar enough that they can do it.
So basically, what I'm getting out of this is that you want story elements like from the video games to be in the movies.
I want a good story.
By this logic, I need Superman to murder Shazam.
I think what he's saying is that even in video games,
they're willing to explore some pretty dark corners of DC in those games, though, and they get some really cool character storylines going on.
Well, the fact that Atrocitus from the Red Lanterns,
like,
I'm so excited.
Like, I absolutely loved like the dynamic between Batman and Damian Wayne in the alternate universe. You know, the whole. You know, one's joined the regime and the other's like, you're dead to me.
Yeah, some people say that Dawn of Justice's tone was way too dark. I don't think that was the big problem. The big problem was that it wasn't written very well, and it was way too overstuffed, and the movie wasn't even really about Batman versus Superman.
Like,
it was about them being manipulated into fighting each other, not about them actually having reasons
I would have loved to see, like, how Batman's dealing with what I'm only assuming is the death of Jason Todd by the Robin suit in the back.
Yeah,
Zack Snyder didn't do that.
And so I feel like there could have been this whole internal debate going on with him, as well as Superman, you know, trying to figure out himself. There's these developments that they just totally skipped over so they could put a cameo of the Flash
Not to mention the Super One
saving a liquor store or something. Wait, I'm sorry, what you say?
Not to mention the Super One-Dimensional Lois Lane who just ruins everything she touches.
But it's just like, it was such a missed opportunity.
For me, she is the Pepper Potts of the DC universe.
Really?
I don't like either of them.
But I just love Amy Adams.
I mean, they could have talked
I like
about
her another
Nightwing and Bloodhaven, you know, Dick Grayson.
Yeah, where was he in all of this? If Batman's been doing this for 20 years, where's Nightwing?
Well, I mean, he must be. Okay, I can only assume he's around. There's no context or anything, or no reference to Bloodhaven, so I can't really confirm it. But if there's a allegedly dead Jason Todd, which means maybe a Red Hood, then there's got to be a Nightwing.
Yeah.
And which means that we also have a chance of getting Tim Drake, who's my favorite Robin.
That's one of the better Robins too. And so like the whole Bat family could, in theory, exist.
Do you think we could ever get a Damian Wayne?
Probably.
I would like that too if it goes far enough into that, because like I got excited when I saw the whole regime Superman alternate universe. I was like, ooh, this will be cool. Because I was like, this is familiar to me. I've seen this kind of thing play out. And Shazam dies. That was morbid, but it was interesting, you know? It really kind of sealed the line for me.
It didn't sink in how bad it was until I realized that Shazam is a 10-year-old kid. And I was like,
it really drew a line in the sand for me, and that really consolidated my allegiance to Batman in all things. Because as bad as Batman may ever be in an alternate universe, I don't think he's ever going to kill a 10-year-old kid.
Okay, so have we moved on to the third topic at this point? Or?
I mean, I feel like we've been talking about the future of the universes for a while now.
We have
Kind of touching on both at this point. I mean, I think it's fair enough that we're not going to go back to Thor Ragnarok. It's going to be good. All right.
Well, so we know that Marvel the MCU is going to change a bit drastically after the fourth Avengers film. And we're especially since apparently like a lot of the characters and actors contracts are going to end, and they probably won't sign back on, which will mean Marvel will have to introduce a lot more characters to help keep their numbers up. And later on, I have learned that not only are they releasing 3 movies a year from now on, starting this year, but they're also later on, and we're talking like maybe a couple decades, they're going to eventually recast characters. They're going to eventually recast Iron Man. Yeah, it's inevitable.
That's an inevitability. That's a hard word.
Yeah, because these guys aren't going to want to do these movies forever.
Yeah.
And we all knew there was an expiration date on that kind of stuff. Now, whether it'll be good or not will be up to Disney to cast the right people.
Yeah.
There's not much I can say on that because I know it's in the near future, but
they will give time when their contract ends. They will give us a lot of time before they even cast somebody because they're doing the same thing. Well, Fox is doing the same thing with Hugh Jackman and Wolverine.
I mean, certain characters they're going.
Fox is making a reasonable decision about superhero movies.
I know, right? But I think one of the things. Oh gosh, I lost my train of thought for a second. I have to grab.
Well, I mean, Deadpool and Logan, you could say those.
Yeah, Black Domino. That was interesting.
I mean,
one of her isn't it one of her mutations that she just has the pale white skin?
I think this will go into the conversation a little bit. What do we think at any point in time Fox may sign Fantastic Four back over to Marvel? Ever?
I think inevitably Fox is going to just keep messing up until it loses its rights to all its heroes.
I mean,
could that even happen?
Yes.
I mean,
Fox.
Ghost Rider is back with Marvel. I mean, like looking at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they got him back.
See, they have these heroes that if they don't overdo them now with like Netflix originals and stuff, they could probably make some good standalones. Like Ghost Rider, I really think he's due some proper screen time without Nicolas Cage. Yeah. So they have characters that are really cool that they haven't quite touched on yet. I know people always kind of go, do this one, but if we're being honest, if they were to start doing that with all the good heroes, they'd run out of stuff way fast. Yeah. But by holding back, they have some pretty good stuff.
I don't think some of them would actually work on a big screen.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think with the amount of cheese factor you'd have to get to like someone like Squirrel Girl worked in a movie would be not worth it after a point. It'd be cool like as a cameo or a reference or something, but she does not need a standalone film.
No, she doesn't.
There's many small characters that do not need standalone films, but that reminds me that Marvel. There's another announcement that actually may not bode well. Marvel announced not only about the 3 movie year thing and the recasting characters somewhere down the line thing, but they also announced that they're not from this point forward. They don't plan on doing traditional origin stories for any superheroes they introduce, which I think is a bad idea because they're doing this because they saw the way they introduced Tom Holland's Spider-Man into their universe. That it worked really well, but it only did because we'd seen his origin story twice. Yeah. Everyone was familiar with Spider-Man's origin story. You can't take someone...
There might be ways they can go around doing origin stories without doing origin stories.
I mean,
there's a formula that they probably haven't completely dialed out. That's what I think. Because yes, I think they were onto something with Homecoming, but like you said, they do have some subtext and background because there's 2 different reboots of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I do think there might be a way for them to do it. I'm not sure yet, but I can see it feasibly.
Well, apparently, from a story building standpoint, though, it gets tiring after do nothing but like a bunch of origin stories after a while.
Well, true.
We're trying,
but it's a great way. In my experience, when it's done well, it's a great way to introduce a character. Now, if they can find a way to tell an origin story without the traditional way they've been doing it, then they can.
And I think that's probably what they are going after.
Yeah, because I guess I can see what they're talking about now. Because they're sick. Oh yeah, they're also, to go along with it, they're also tired of one keynote villains, like villains like the Mandarin and Doctor Strange's villain
So they
and
kinda want, like,
Thor
Doctor Doom.
2's villain.
Baron Mordo is going to show up again.
So they want characters that'll last over time, like Doctor Doom, characters that kind of seem to exist.
Yeah.
Well, like that's what they started a rumor. It's what they started doing with Dormammu from Doctor Strange. Is that there's rumors that he's going to be like the overarching villain for Phase 4, but they wanted to introduce him to Doctor Strange. And
Yeah.
So, I'd be fine.
And I mean, honestly, I think they really shot themselves in the foot by getting rid, or at least allegedly getting rid entirely of Ultron, because he's a pretty decently lasting.
Well,
villain.
they wanted to do him before Thanos for some reason because Joss Whedon insisted on it
I feel like
because
they rushed.
He loves Ultron, so he wanted to see Ultron.
Yeah, but they rushed Ultron.
I feel
to
like
the
it was a
point
good
that-
idea. I feel like it was a good idea because then because then Avengers 2 would have probably been what Avengers 3 is going to be.
Yeah.
And if anything, Ultron provided us with more build up to Thanos.
But I mean, honestly, Ultron is still one of my favorite parts of the entire MCU.
Yeah, and I just feel like they really cut him short really quick.
Yeah.
They were like, I have strings and now I'm dead.
But you know what the benefit of hindsight?
Ultron, get out of here.
Obviously, you've never made an omelet.
He beat me by 2 seconds. He beat me by 1 second.
Oh gosh, what was I gonna? Oh, but talking about the futures of all these universes, though, I am excited for part of DC's universe because they have rumored that they're going to do a live-action Justice League Dark movie,
Yeah.
which I'm excited for.
So at this
What
point,
does Justice League Dark consist of? I don't think I
Justice
completely
League
am on
Dark
that level.
is Constantine, Swamp Thing, Deadman, Enchantress, a couple other people. Dr. Fate is rumored to be a part of it. So that's a huge rumor. They have an animated one that came
So
out.
you're really just excited for Dr. Fate from what I'm listening to here.
I don't know. I mean, I've
You
always
really
liked
want
that
another
Constantine,
wavy,
right?
wiggly, wacky, wavy, inflatable arm flailing enchantress?
No, I want to see Swamp Thing in a movie.
I still can't get over that woman's eyebrows. They're so pronounced.
I forgive this because Cara Delevingne is really pretty. So I forgive Enchantress.
I don't think I agree. I really find her very unattractive.
You don't have to agree. It's my opinion.
I know, it's just an unpopular one.
okay, so
Look at the
do we think that at any point in time that this DCU may tank and have to be scrapped, or
Yes.
do we think that because they'll probably keep making money that Warner Brothers will just keep pushing forward no matter what?
I think they're gonna keep pushing forward. But the good thing is that they have a goal in mind, and if they keep promising things that people really want to see, people will still keep going. Like honestly, I'm gonna keep going just to see Darkseid on a big screen.
Yeah.
But then after Darkseid, they're gonna be like, yeah, he's gone, but Brainiac, and I'm gonna be like,
Honestly, I have to
just
agree
really hope
because
they try to
now, as long as they keep making money, which apparently they will. Suicide Squad, yes, awful, but it's still raked in a ton of money. And as long as they keep making money, they're going to keep.
Yeah,
making
they're still making
That's
sales
been
a hot
the-
topic.
That's been the big golden rule
All my
in
friends are
Hollywood.
heathens.
If your movies make money, you make more movies. And the only studio that has threatened to break this rule is Fox with Fan 4 Stick.
Well, actually, they have decided to cancel all Fantastic Four movie.
All right, good.
Like Fox decided that this was kind of a last chance.
If that's any inclination, I
they were
bet.
like, well, maybe we'll try. But then they saw like the fan reaction and like the aftermath of that movie, and they're just like, nah.
So does this mean they're going to sell it back to Marvel, or
Possibly.
If they do, I doubt Marvel will actually do anything.
I don't know if they're going to be
feel
like,
like we're
man,
probably
look at this
wait a while
boring
to
mess.
see if they can even fit it in later on.
I feel like we're not going to see another Fantastic Four movie within the next 10, 15
We
years.
probably won't see it until they run out of stuff for the other ones. Like,
That'll take a while. I think if anything, they'll introduce them late.
Because like I said with
late Phase 4 or early Phase 5.
well, I mean, like I said with Ghost Rider, they have a good character, they're not using it. And if they get Fantastic Four, they've got
Yeah, Robbie
four
Reyes.
good characters they could. Well, yeah, he's in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Robbie Reyes version, but I mean, like,
Johnny Blaze.
He
I mean, like,
can't be in the movies because the TV show is connected to the movies.
yeah, that's true, but I still
I mean,
think they-
Lady Sif is in both. Samuel L. Jackson was in one episode for 10
true.
seconds that probably cost
But
$1 million.
was his animation quality good enough for a movie?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
It was better than
I'm not even past season 2 of Agents of Shield.
Oh, yeah.
So.
It was better than Nicolas Cage animation already.
All right. So basically, okay, what do we think about Marvel's whole this whole
Inhumans?
Inhuman show.
No, I wasn't getting on Humans. Let's get off the TV for a bit. We're talking about movies. But let's talk about Marvel's big whole gaping plot hole that's just been created with Spider-Man: Homecoming due to the timeline. What do y'all think of that?
Wait, what plot hole?
Okay, and y'all both saw Spider-Man: Homecoming, right?
Yep.
Okay.
3 times.
The beginning of the scene, the first scene when it's the aftermath of New York. All right, we can all pretty much assume that that's pretty much in the same year that the Avengers battle happened.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think they left it for 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe 1 to 2, depending.
Well, I don't know if
At that point, you see them cleaning up like a body of like the Leviathan thing. So I mean,
But I'm not really sure how you would dispose of
it
the
still
giant
looked
alien
like they
tank.
were in early reconstruction of the city, which would support the fact that it's probably the same year.
Yeah.
Now,
Early close.
apparently the Iron Man story in the first movie, apparently that took place in 2010, from what I understand, and then everything that happened between then and Avengers happened in 2 years. And then Avengers happened in 2012. And that has been officially confirmed. Avengers happened in the year 2012. Now, and then the movie says 8 years later.
Okay.
Which means it's the year 2020.
Yeah, man.
Well, here's the problem with that. Okay,
Do they say
they wanted
2017
that. I'm going to explain the
Spider-Man
reason. I'm going to explain the reason, but I'm going to explain the problem. The reason they did this was because after the Avengers movies, if they kept the timeline linear to the point to where, like, when the movies come out, this is when the movies are happening in our time, then Spider-Man would already be graduating from high school by the time Avengers 4 happened. But after Avengers 4, they want him to still be in high school, which is why they adjusted the timeline. Here's the problem. Now, back in Captain America: Civil War, Vision said in the 8 years since Tony Stark has revealed himself as Iron Man, blah, 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 which means that in that case, that means that Captain America: Civil War happens in 2018, not 2016 like we thought. However, when Tom Holland fought with the Avengers, it's after he was done, after he fought them all, after he comes back, it says it's like 3 months later or something, which means it should still be the year 2018. So what the hell happened?
I feel like I just read like a BuzzFeed fan.
Seriously, Kevin Feige has been running a tight ship ever since 2008, and this is the one big plot hole timeline problem that has been produced by Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh, I mean, it's
Thoughts?
one.
I mean, one continuity error compared to 1,000.
I know, but like everyone's kind of
compare
The point is, everyone's kind of
DC's
shocked.
continuity error.
Yes. Okay, I'll give you that. But I'm just saying, everyone's kind of shocked that this kind of like slipped under the radar. They didn't see this coming.
Well, it's just a numbers game, you know?
Honestly, it's probably just, I doubt they even really thought about it, to be
Probably.
honest. Like,
They could literally just remaster that one part where it says 8 years later it solved the problem.
Maybe.
the DVD comes out, it's like 7 years.
Well, I think it has to be 2020 if they want him to be the age that they want Spider-Man to be when he, I don't know, whatever.
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm not saying it really matters. I'm just saying, what did y'all think about it?
I think that
I didn't think about it, if that helps.
Yeah, it didn't really register with me too
It
much.
hasn't registered with me at this, like, for some reason when you were explaining, I was imagining someone has, like, all those newspapers and stuff, and they're, like, drawing lines and tagging them. If this is this, and this is this. And I was like, man,
Honestly, I think the thing that bothered
really obscene.
the thing that bothered me the most and that made me happiest at the same time was that they had MJ in the film, but it
Wasn't Mary Jane.
But it wasn't Mary Jane.
It wasn't Mary Jane. That's been
Which I
confirmed.
was happy that it was
was like
MJ because
grumpy
I love
version.
the reference, but I'm also like I love the reference, but I was mad. But what made me mad was that they used it the way they did. Well, my friends call me MJ, and it's like if you're gonna use MJ as a reference, just have Mary Jane in the film.
Yeah.
But I also
that
don't
seemed
want
weird.
Mary Jane in the film because she's my least favorite of Spider-Man's love interest.
Well, she's gonna come in eventually.
No,
Gwen Stacy's
Yes.
better.
Stacy's better.
Gwen Stacy will be in the earlier parts of the
Black
film,
Cat.
but when Tom Holland gets to the point to where his character is a man and he's graduated college, that's when he'll meet Mary Jane, and that's gonna happen whether you like it.
Every version of Gwen that isn't just regular
which
Gwen.
I can handle Mary Jane. It's just when initially with like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, it was gonna be like Shailene Woodley from like Divergent, and I was like,
Really?
no. Yeah. She was set to play. She even filmed the scene for the end credit scene of Amazing Spider-Man 2, and they're like, yeah, we don't know if this is actually gonna be a third movie anytime soon, so we're gonna cut that scene. And they cut that scene.
Wow.
And then they didn't have a third movie. And Andrew Garfield tried to play Spider-Man in Disney's, but then he made a bad comment about Disney, and then he trash talked Sony, and Disney was like, "You're not loyal, son," and they fired him.
Man, shot himself in the butt. That really would have been confusing too if they.
And then Emma Stone dumped him, so now he has nothing.
Except for Hacksaw Ridge.
Hit it off.
Yeah, they were dating.
Yeah, they were dating during Spider-Man 2.
That gangly freak.
And yeah, he has nothing except Hacksaw Ridge. Hey, Hacksaw Ridge is actually.
No one remembers Hacksaw Ridge now.
You know, I wonder what it's like for celebrities that date each other.
Hacksaw Ridge is actually
Like,
pretty good.
do you think Emma Stone went and saw? Do you think Emma Stone went and saw Hacksaw Ridge? Or do you think she avoided it because her ex was in the movie? I've always wondered if
I don't know.
celebrities
I feel like
spike movies that have their
I hope he dies in this movie.
like. This maybe should be a conversation for the next podcast, but I think that's a good.
So would we agree that which franchise looks or which universe looks like they'll have a more promising future?
Marvel, of course.
Marvel.
Mostly because of Black Panther is gonna be amazing, and so like.
I mean, true. Marvel looks like they're gonna have a more promising career, even though like people are still nervous about what's gonna happen after Phase 3. But sure enough, they haven't let us down so far, like DCEU has, and the DCEU has been more of a rocky ship that's been really not been very steady, but it looks like they're recovering, and I'm not saying that they're going to have as promising a future as Marvel. I think Marvel's going to have the more promising future, but I think the DCEU will have a better future.
The potential
if
for
it's
DC,
done right.
The potential for DC rests solely on the fact that they haven't done it right yet.
I'm excited for DC's future.
Only because I think they'll eventually get it right.
But hesitantly.
So at what point will we be able to say, okay, it looks like they got it right?
I don't know.
Like, honestly, the way it is, for me, is like, again, I'm going to use a metaphor for it. With DC and me, it's like, DC and me, in the romantic comedy that is our film. I'm the one who's like hesitant to be truly devoted to this relationship. I'm like, it has potential for an awesome future, but I'm just not sure. With Marvel, it's like, yeah!
See, I mean, I could see the finish line for Marvel, sure. But, and the only reason I think DC does have a slightly brighter future is because they haven't even gotten past the start yet, to me.
Yeah.
Like, they're still fumbling around. They're kind of where Marvel was when they released the first Spider-Man movie.
They tied their own shoes together
To me.
starting the race.
You know, and people were like, these are okay.
Wait a minute. What first Spider-Man movie?
Like, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
No, that wasn't Marvel though. That was Sony. What are you talking about?
Oh, well.
No, keep going with your. No, don't discourage.
Like, what movie did you mean to say?
Well, I mean, I guess, like, when, you know, those kind of movies were just starting to come out.
Superhero.
I mean, I like your theory. I'm just correcting your misspoke, in my opinion.
You misspoke.
Okay, so like around what time in the Marvel
Well, I mean,
MCU are
I'm not even
you
sure. I guess they'd be close to maybe where Iron Man was. Right now, you know, they're talking about doing cameos. They've had cameos.
They're obviously still in Phase 1.
Yeah, they're in their first steps.
Phase.
Yeah.
I think they've had enough movies
Okay,
established.
I'll give them. Okay, let's say Suicide Squad was their Incredible Hulk, then. You know, because it's kind of.
Will they also?
But there were some cameos for better actors.
Will the DCEU like eventually like show like have stages or phases? Like, will they actually announce that at their Comic-Cons like Marvel does, or will they just it'll be one big?
They're probably. I'm assuming. I'm waiting for the day within the next 5 years where they make the announcement of Justice League Unlimited, the live-action movie. Look at all these actors. They only have 1 minute of screen time each.
It's actually not a movie. It's just a slideshow.
We hired actors, put them in a costume, took their picture, and then
made graphics and slideshows just like we did
and then
Suicide
had to
Squad.
give the costume back to the rental company because they can't afford to keep it.
But it's also like a 4-hour-long movie. Because we gave them at least 3-minute segments so we could explain their backstory.
And just in the theater is just going to be...
Yeah!
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awful.
Yeah. I'd still go see it probably.
If a movie like that ever comes out, you have to go see it for the novel.
Just to see if they cast Nathan Fillion as Booster Gold. Like, that's
Right.
Goals!
But,
All right, is there? Is that it?
I think that's all I've got, man.
All right.
bored.
All right.
Spoiled if you don't invite us back.
All right. Well, that's all we have for now. Like and comment if you think this. If you like this podcast, let us know what you think, and we will hear from you next time.
You're about to say,
We will see you in our next podcast.
Until next time. Later.